I think it's pretty obvious that Disney's been having trouble for quite a while now, and this latest stock crash is probably more of the same. Now, I think it's reasonable to say that this is directly tied to their whole issue with Charter over broadcasting rights for ESPN and FX, but I believe that's honestly more of a symptom of a greater problem, and that's simply the fact that Disney needs money right now, especially if you actually look at their last earnings call. I mean, the best news that the media can actually report on it was basically they cut their streaming losses. So they didn't lose as many people. $2.4 billion charged for content that they're purging. So they're getting rid of stuff as a tax write off. Uh, Bob Iger sees cost savings topping $5.5 billion. So, in other words, yeah, they're taking tax write offs. The losses weren't as bad as it was previously, and they're going to be figuring out more ways to save money. That's not a very optimistic earnings call. I mean, that's actually saying things are pretty bad for the company, and it's not a new thing if it's being reported at their earnings call. I mean, this is something that's been happening for quite some time now. But the question is, why have they been suffering so much lately? I mean, and a lot of people, especially more on the conservative side of the cultural world spectrum, are basically saying they abandoned their whole family audience. And I think that's kind of a fair thing, considering that the family market is basically their bread and butter, or was for the longest time. But they seem to be moving past that. And a lot of people have noticed that and saying that's the issue at hand there, that they've been abandoning family in favor of more left-wing policies and chasing that ESG score, and this is a result of that, and they're losing money hand over fist. I mean, you got this thing about how they're having trans people play princesses at the parks. Disney executive producer admits to gay agenda, adding queerness wherever she could. Disney Channel introduces its first trans character on show, Raven's Home. And then there's also a latest rumor about the new Snow White, which also has controversies in and of itself. I mean, I'm just talking with Rachel Zegler and Snow White, but it's basically supposed to be an independent socialist leading a revolt against the evil queen, which is kind of a crazy take. But what's funny now is we're getting this news coming out about Disney, that Disney lists a $330,000 crisis PR job after CEO insults striking actors and writers. Now, this is the interesting part to me. The way they're framing this is that this is a result of them attacking the people on strike. Now, if you actually look at the article from another side of the political spectrum, this is from Breitbart right here. Disney seeking $330,000 crisis PR executive as it battles LGBTQ controversies, financial woes. So you see the framing. One of them is saying they're looking for a crisis PR job because they attacked left-wing people. Another one saying they're looking for a crisis PR job because they attacked right-wing people. So the question is, which is it, or is it really none of those things? But if you do a little bit more digging, you can see that the person that they hire, someone responsible for this sort of thing, amidst DeSantis feud. Now, this is also another framing. Disney hires Joe Biden's former advisor to handle crisis communications for the company. Now, that's the interesting part here, because why would they hire someone who's clearly on the left side of the political spectrum to handle crisis communication? And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're trying to appeal to people on the left-wing side of the political spectrum. Now, apparently the attacks on the left-wing side really just comes down to this interview with Bob Iger where he attacked the people on strike, and this was from last July. But I mean, if you look at some of these other articles I pulled up, this is from before that. They're alienating their family audiences. I mean, this is from July. I mean, and of course, if it's been reported in July, that means it's been an issue that's been going on for quite some time now. This is from June. When was this? Oh, this was from back in March, July 13th. So again, before that. So before Disney actually had that supposedly thing that's causing the crisis PR thing with attacking a left-wing organization, which is the Writers Guild of America in the SAG-AFTRA, they were having a lot of other controversies with, and also issues being reported because of their issue with the conservative side of the political spectrum, or the conservative side of the culture war. And now they're trying to frame it as if saying like they need to actually kind of bring back that liberal side of it. But apparently that liberal side of it isn't actually helping the company now, is it? Because a lot of those people on strike were on strike for what they're saying is like for residuals and stuff like that, because they're not getting paid much, because frankly their shows aren't doing good, and that's why they're not getting paid, and that's why the residuals are basically nothing. And why aren't people watching those shows? Because they don't like the agendas that they're pushing in those shows. And so in a way, the company failing is honestly a result of them attacking the conservative side of the culture war spectrum and trying to get involved with things that ordinarily Disney wouldn't have been involved with. And if Walt Disney was still around, he actually would have been outright against, which is kind of the irony with all of this thing. But if this is the latest crisis PR thing, I mean, some people are trying to say like, oh, like Breitbart, I do think Breitbart is wrong with this. It's not because of the battles with LGBTQ controversies. It's the fact that that's the side that Disney is on now. And they said something, or at least Bob Iger said something that angers the liberal side of the company, which is now their one that they're trying to pander to, and they upset them. So they're trying to win them back. But unfortunately for Disney, that people on that side of the political spectrum actually don't buy their product. I mean, so this probably isn't going to fare too well for them. And the only thing that really helps Disney, or that could help them, is to try to win back their family audience, which is basically to kind of go back to being politically neutral and frankly get rid of a lot of these people who've been pulling them to the left and trying to cater to that ESG score. But that's what I think, at least. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.